take a seat, that's right. Welcome to the jam where we shed the light on safety tips, tricks, and things to know. We're traffic pros here to steal the show. Traffic jam, stay cool and learn the plan. Safe on the road, every child, every man. With wisdom from the experts, you'll be in command. Let's talk safety, traffic jam is the brand. Turn signals flash like they're saying, hey. Eyes on the road, never drift away. Legends in the lanes, got advice to share. We've got the goods, so you're prepared out there. Crash test dummies, not in your fate. Stick around, don't procrastinate. Questions, answers, knowledge flows. Time for some fun with safety pros. Traffic jam, stay cool and learn the plan. Safe on the road, every child, every man. With wisdom from the experts, you'll be in command. Let's talk safety, traffic jam is the brand. So rev up, keep it spinning fast. Traffic tips that forever last. Stay sharp, stay bright, go and take a stand. Traffic jam has got you in hand. It's the end.
I was actually expecting that to automatically switch. Apparently, I didn't set up for that. How you doing, everybody? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Ask a Traffic Cop. I am that traffic cop, or at least an ex-traffic cop. I am a former police officer. My name is Sean Shapiro, and I talk about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff every single day, even though it annoys my family. But that's part of the charm, I'm told. If you want to know stuff before you do stuff so you don't end up getting charged with stuff, then you're in the right place, because my goal is to help you know the traffic laws and understand the rules, not just because you read them and they say don't do it, but, getting an understanding of why is kind of important. I think it is. I think it really helps things. Everybody wants to know why. Dre sent a comment on TikTok, and you're safe, Dre. You're going to be okay. I'm not going to get into politics, but you're okay. Yeah, I'm on side. Don't worry. Okay. Paul says, he's saying, sorry, the emoji didn't come through on YouTube. And he says, waving good morning all. Kayla Draconis jumping in with greetings and salutations. He's still in Oakville. He was on last night for as long as he could. And we were on, I was live streaming last night. We started, it's the After Dark thing. So Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I go live here on actually everywhere, doing the regular thing, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. I'm answering your questions. But on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll be doing something called After Dark. Yes, this is where I go live at night, where it's a little bit different, feels a little different. It's a little more chill. And then we keep doing it. We do it with guests. It sounds weird. We're not doing anything other than talking. The After Dark, someone said it needs weird lounge music because it sounds naughty, but it's really just chilling. And last night, Brian Max, who is I met him because he was a radio host at the time, but he is a journalist, a YouTuber, race car driver. He is a race team principal, so he owns a race team. He's just an all-around interesting guy, and he was on the live stream last night talking about what he knows about, and that's about going fast, real fast, and doing it legally on the track. So that's what we talked about. We also took questions, and we were babbling for about 2 hours on the stream, and it was a lot of fun. It's always fun. Brian and I are good friends. We talk all the time, but it is always interesting having him on the show and seeing what kind of questions come up. So we got into a bunch of things. One of those things was talking about we talked about cars that he's reviewed, cars he wishes he could review or would have reviewed, and then we were talking about where's the button I'm looking for? We're talking about the podcast that I did, specifically addressing the Great Canadian Driving Games, which is something that's on right now. It started March 14th, goes to September 14th, and it's a game. Well, it's not a game. It's an app that you put on your phone that tracks your driving. But since the information doesn't go to anybody other than you and the Traffic Injury Research Foundation, and you get a chance to win $100,000, it is a game. It's gamification of your data because I get to look up and see how my drive was uh, on the how many buttons can I press? How my drive was, how I did, how safe was I being, and it's awesome. And I'm totally addicted to it. I am trying to get the highest score in Canada. That's my goal. And I invite you to go to the link in my bio to go and download this. You go to trafficcop.ca. Go download it. Go be part of it. And if you're watching, by the way, on any platform, please like, follow, and subscribe, especially on TikTok. If you can, tap that screen till your fingers go numb, it brings more people to the party. One little announcement is we are going to be joined by Jerry Agar on NewsTalk 1010 at 10:35 this morning. That's a show that's on the radio. And if you want to call in or text into the radio show to get your questions heard, you can do that by going to 416-872-1010 or toll free 1-877-518-5151. Now, if you phone or text, that's the local number, but it's so much more fun to phone than text, in my opinion. Of course, if you're out of the GTA, if it's going to be long distance, they thought of everything. They have an 800 number. Well, I guess that's an 877 number. It doesn't flow like an 800 number. Anyway, that's at 10:35. Until then, we are simply chatting about stuff and things. It's whatever you want to know about. And if you're a G1 driver, if you know a G1 driver or one who wants to get their G1 or even just wants to brush up on their skills and abilities, know that I am talking about, well, I'm effectively reading you the driver's handbook. So if you want to know the info in this magical book that's not that interesting to read, then go to my YouTube channel at VoiceOver Cop and you can listen to me read it to you with some insight, with some add-ons, with some stuff and things that might be helpful to you. I've gotten through the intro and the first section of chapter 2, and it's not very exciting. But each section is about a half an hour of reading. So this is an investment of time. I'm doing one section a week. If I have extra time, I'll do a second one. And I'm going to try and speed it up because I know folks really want to get through it. They don't want to wait week to week to get through it. So I'm going to employ some additional help to get it through faster. And I'm also working on some special projects to get some friends to help out with the content. Because I think there's going to be interesting things like how to set your mirrors up. Well, it's great to tell you about it, to read about it, but explaining it on a video is going to be very helpful. So we're going to do some stuff about that. What do we got here? Long Low says, hey, did you see my video? I tagged you on Instagram. I think I did. I don't know which one was it, because I grabbed a bunch of them. I saved them so that I can make videos and comment on them in that way. If I didn't acknowledge it by way of text, I must have missed it. So usually I'll at very least acknowledge the comment that was tagged. So I'll have to go and look for that. But thank you very much. So I've asked anyone who's watching who thinks that I need to see a video to share it, to comment on it, to make it something that the world sees in greater numbers. Yeah, I'd say tag me on it and I'll take care of it. So I'm doing that. Simply Harjeet says, are you going to be on Jerry's show today? I am going to be on Jerry's show today. That's at 10:35. He will join me here. So if you want to stay here, you can listen to Jerry. If you want to go to the radio, you can hear Jerry and me through the radio. It's going to be amazing. It's always amazing. Jerry and I have been friends for a long time now, and it is always a pleasure to jump on the air with him. Now, this morning I was also on AM 640. I was on with Kevin Frankish. We were talking about some things this morning, and I've got a clip of that, but I think I'll just share it later on my socials. It was talking about things that I'm sure we're going to be talking about on the show with Jerry too. Lots of things in the media dealing with traffic. Brandon says, let's see here. Brandon says, good morning, Sean and all. It is a busy cooking day. But just wanted to say, y'all rock, and let's have a fun and amazing day. Thank you, Brandon. Much appreciated. What are you cooking today? What is on the menu? Brandon is all over the place cooking stuff and things, which is always awesome. I get hungry because he talks about food all the time, and we're going to connect. I want to know what he's making. Why do people? Oh, okay. Here's a good question. Jennifer wants to know why people merge onto the 400 at 50 kilometers an hour. That's the question, right? To quote it, it's very specifically or properly, Jennifer wrote, why do people jump on the 400 at 50K? What? Question mark. Yeah, not everybody's a good driver. Not everybody's a confident driver, and not everybody should be on the road. 50K getting on the 400, unless it's back-to-back, bumper to bumper, that's dangerous. You need to get up to the speed limit or the appropriate merge speed. Now, you shouldn't be speeding. Nobody should, but that is it's highway rot with speeders. Like, there are way too many people going way too fast on the 400 series highways. And I've been talking about it for the last couple of episodes. I was there. I was on the highway. When did I go? Thursday? I think it was Thursday or Friday. I was Friday. And there was like 5 OPP cruisers doing laser enforcement on the 400 series highways. And I think it's amazing. It's great to see the OPP out. They generally don't have enough people. Maybe things have changed. They've got a sufficient number of enforcement officers to get the speeders. If you're watching on TikTok, do me a favor. Please share the live stream. Let's get some more people in here. Throw some likes this way too. That would be helpful. We want to get as many people in because when you bring more people, you bring more questions. When you bring more questions, the conversation gets interesting. Let's see here. Sif87 says the max speed was 60 and I was going 63 and I got a warning for going over. Is it that serious? Where were you going? Well, 63 kilometers an hour. Is 3 kilometers over that serious? I wouldn't pull you over for 3 kilometers over. Maybe it's a slow day. For me, if you're in a 60 zone and you're doing 3 kilometers over, yeah, I wouldn't bat an eye because that's outside of where I was when I was on the road. For me, 10 over might have gotten you a warning. 15 over would have gotten you a ticket. So, yeah, 3 over, that's intense. Maybe it was a small town. Where were you? I'm curious now. But generally speaking, it's still illegal. So they'd be in there or well within their rights to give you a ticket for it. And maybe they just wanted to make sure you were licensed, and that was the excuse. I mean, to be quite honest, they can pull you over just to check if you're a licensed driver, just to check if you're insured, just to make sure you're sober, and to check your vehicle at any time. So if they gave you the excuse of they were going 3 kilometers over, they had a legitimate speeding thing in addition to their right to pull you over for anything, there was a conversation. And if you didn't get a ticket, then so be it. It's good. Jennifer says, I'm here. Well, Jennifer, we just talked about you. Were you gone and then you came back, or you just letting me know? Welcome back. Let's see. We got here. Simply Harjeet says, awesome. I love his show. That's awesome. I'm glad you like it. I love being on the show. It's a good time when we're there. Simply Harjeet says, is there always a 2 kilometer an hour grace? So when it comes to speeding, there's no always anything. 1 kilometer an hour could be a ticket, although no one really does that. It's not a documented grace of being allowed I appreciate it, Jennifer. Jennifer says, you said, come on here, so I'm here. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Boy, if that worked for everybody, it would be amazing. So back to Harjeet's, or Simply Harjeet's question of the 2 kilometer an hour grace. There is no automagic or, written in stone, someone gets 5 or 2 or 1 kilometer grace. It's up to the officer who pulls you over. It's their personal thing. Now, courts would not see a 1 kilometer an hour charge and appreciate wasting the court's time. I don't think it would be worthwhile for anybody. So yeah, most of the time people are not doing that. However, it's still legitimate. Just a waste of time. Listen, 5 kilometers an hour for a lot of people, they think that that's unreasonable. And I remember talking to a previous chief on my show, and he said, our officers are out there doing the right thing and we know what to look at. And that's the thing. Logically, and officers are making good decisions when they're pulling people over. And for the most part, they're looking for the faster speeds. That's not a license to speed lower. It just means that we're looking for the most serious offenders. Okay. Jen Carling says, police can pull you over for anything. Wouldn't that be against the charter? No. And they can pull you over for any offense, obviously, but they can pull you over because you're driving a regulated vehicle and you require a license to be able to operate that vehicle. And how do they ensure you're licensed? By pulling you over and checking. So if there's any reason that they believe that you're not licensed, or they're just checking randomly, they're not targeting you based on anything. They're not targeting all men or all women or all young people. They're just pulling over drivers because we're going to check this driver because something looks wrong, or because it's the first car I saw and I'm checking every 5th car. Whatever reason they justify, they can pull you over to make sure you're a licensed driver because it's a requirement of being or of operating a motor vehicle on the roads in Ontario. They can pull you over to make sure you have insurance because that's a thing, and then they can make sure that you're sober. And that's actually like you. Not only can they pull you over to make sure you're sober, they can require every vehicle they pull over to provide a breath sample with mandatory alcohol screening. That's a Canadian thing, and it works really well. But no, it's not against the charter. And when it comes to the whole ride programs and checking for alcohol, it's acceptable. Specifically, the courts have seen it to be acceptable violation of the charter because, just detaining people and stopping them for no reason is determined to be a charter thing, but it's an acceptable charter violation based on the fact that it's for the greater good. Chris says, hello, with a waving hand. Hello, how you doing? Jennifer says, what happens when you're entering onto the 400 and the guy behind you is right up your rear? Then he mac. Let's see here. I don't know what the Mac part is because it cut you off. I wish they gave you more text. Okay. Get into the left-hand lane and stays there, so you cannot get over to the left-hand lane. People have a lot. So are they blocking you? So the guy from behind you makes a lane change and blocks you from getting in, but they were behind you. This is a terrible situation where the entitled jerks on the road do all sorts of things that make the road unsafe. And this is where we wish a cop was everywhere that violators were all the time. And sadly, they don't get caught. So my thing is drive your own drive. If someone does something stupid, it's on them. If they cause a collision, it's on them. I would absolutely suggest that you get a dash camera. I would suggest one that has a front and back camera. In the videos after they go up, I tend to put links to different products on Amazon because I actually got their affiliate program going so that I can suggest certain products, and then a commission gets paid to the show, which helps fund it. But whether you use a link that I put up or you just go and get one, because having a dash camera will give you that evidence. If a collision occurs, at least you can point the finger at the right person, the person who caused it, and that person would be the person who caused it if they cut you off or passed you unsafely and then blocked you from getting in. So Jennifer says, I love you. I'm so glad you're on TikTok. Thank you very much, Jennifer. But back to your question of they have to, you can't prevent someone from making a lane change. That's actually stunt driving. There's a whole bunch of things that go in, but you want to have a documented video piece of evidence to help you, because when there's no other witness, that's what you're going to rely on. Sadly, there's so many jerks on the road. You have to really drive defensively and offensively. But what you're describing is just really gross. I was on AM 640 this morning talking about cooperative driving, and if people just were kind to one another, got off their high horse, remembered that we're all in it together, we go places a lot faster and smoother. I bet your insurance would go down too, because there'd be fewer collisions. If you got questions, I've got answers. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. On the background behind me, you see Diamond and Barrett Legal. Those are my sponsors. And if you know somebody who might want to support the show and help me do what I'm doing, which is to educate people and get the word out, then please share with them that I'm looking for sponsors, just because there's bills to pay and I could use help. I do this for free on my own since retiring from the Toronto Police Service. After nearly 25 years of talking about stuff and things, I did it as I started as an auxiliary officer. I went to the court services, did that simultaneously while volunteering, and then became a police officer, and then left. And I did it so I could focus on traffic safety. We've started a not-for-profit called Better Traffic, which is what this Ask a Traffic show is under the umbrella of, and that's what we're looking for sponsors for. Anyway, Honda Mig says, oh, by the way, welcome back. Honda Mig says, Black View on both my cars, I highly recommend. I had a Black View. I think they're great. I had it fail. And then I tried the Thinkware U1000. It was great for about a year and a bit, and then it failed. Don't know what happened, just stopped powering up. Bought another one of the same because I really like it. And now the U3000, which is even more money, came out, and I'm very interested in testing that one out. I might switch to it. But at the end of the day, whether you buy a $50 cheapie off of Amazon or you buy a fancy one, as long as you have something, you're going to be better protected than if you have nothing. Simply Harjeet says, what's your name on TikTok? Oh, it's VoiceOver Cop. Same on all platforms. If you want to find me on TikTok or on YouTube, all VoiceOver Cop. Okay. Things that we're talking about today. So much to talk about. SP says, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking? I am 50. And if you're trying to figure out how I retired at 50, I left way early. Which means that I am not living pretty on a fluffy government salary, which is what people think when you say you retired. Let's see here. Jennifer says, my dad was not a police officer, but he hung around 55 Division. Like all day, or he just like he really hung out there? But that's awesome. If you spend time at 55 Division, lots of great people down there. The beaches. A friend of mine recently retired from 55 as a staff sergeant. Sorry, as a sergeant. And then we've got the president of the police association is a former 55 Division staff sergeant. See how all those ideas conflate at one time when I'm trying to say stuff? And thanks, Jennifer. I was kidding. Not every day. He wasn't hanging out there every day. Colin Bond, thanks for the follow. If you're watching and you are a driver I'm interested to know what laws you think are wild and crazy and unfair, and which laws you would like to see, or what laws you would create if you were able to make your own. That's what I'm looking for. What do you think? Akela Draconis says, can't catch the show at the moment. We'll be catching it on replay, which is a good time to say that YouTube is where there is a repository of every episode ever created since, I think it's 5 years of episodes, 4 years of episodes. They're all archived there, hundreds and hundreds of hours of content. And you know what else you can get it on? You can also subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting app. If you are on Apple Podcasts, if you're on Spotify, we're on all those platforms, and that way you can synchronize the content to your phone, and then you can simply listen to it while you drive. Not watch it, listen to it while you drive, and you do it without burning your data, which is awesome. Good time to remind everybody that at 10:35, we'll be joined by Jerry Agar on NewsTalk 1010. You can phone in or text in to 416-872-1010. You can also join voice only by calling 1-877-518-5151. You let the control center know what your question is, and then they will allow you to get through on the air and speak to us. Ask your questions live and on the phone, which is awesome. Okay. We will look. I have a bunch of videos. Let's see here. If I switch this to this, not to that. I really thought I've done it on the show. We've talked about it. What do you think of this? I'll play it again. Here we have a takeover situation. They wet the roads to allow people to slide. No seatbelts for one. I mean, just being silly. But what do you think of that? Is a joyride in a street worth, what is it? You think it's a $500 rim? I'm guessing. I don't know what that car is worth or what that rim's worth. But do you think that is fun? I think it's the justice. I think that's exactly what people need to do, is damage their cars in such a way that insurance won't cover them. And then, of course, make it go viral so that when they put the claim in, it doesn't go anywhere. Hey, my name is Sean Shapiro, former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. And we're just chilling out, talking about stuff and things. If you want to know stuff before you do stuff so you don't get charged with stuff, if you want to understand traffic laws, then I'm your guy. I'm here to help. And we're talking about so many different things in the news. And I want to save some of this for when I connect with Jerry, because Jerry Agar on NewsTalk 1010 will be joining in the not too distant future. It's what is it, 10 minutes away? Yeah, roughly 10 minutes away. We're going to leave this on the screen so you have the number in case you want to call and get on hold to try and connect. But it might be difficult because there's a lot of people on the air who want to get through. And I say that on the air, like on the air in Toronto, in the Southern Ontario region. What region is it? Honda Meg says, I would love to see our driving tests be a lot more strict. They are way too much easy. And I have to agree with you. There's also tons of allegations about the concept of folks, buying their license. Yes, apparently that is a thing. If you have the right amount of money, if you speak to the right person, apparently you can bribe your way into a license, which is pretty gross and it's illegal. Like you're not actually qualified to drive, and yet you're getting issued a license. Now, here's the story. This is what everyone says is happening. Do I know it to be true? I assume it to be true, but I've never been involved in any investigations. I've not heard of anything leading to any convictions or charges. We hear stories about driving schools, investigative reports where media have gone in and figured out that if you speak to certain driving schools with cash in your hand, you might be able to avoid going to the school, but get the certificate that gives you a reduction in the amount of time that it takes to get to the next grade. Because when you're a G1, you need to be with a G1 for 12 months, unless you take a certified or approved course under the MTO, and then you're allowed to have a reduction. You do it in 8 months. So not actually getting the experience, but paying for someone to give you the boost. It's like getting coins in a video game. You get right to the front. Yeah, not cool. And are people getting away with it? Are they actually losing their licenses? Are they able to still teach? You'd think that they wouldn't. Brav, what's going on? Colin Bond also with comments. Colin says, why are seatbelt tickets a thing when you aren't putting anyone in harm's way other than yourself? Interesting. So obviously, road rules say you have to wear it. I imagine part of that is because nothing saves lives. Nothing saves lives better than staying inside the vehicle. When you're thrown from a vehicle, your chances of survival are reduced dramatically. Even injuries within the vehicle are increased when you're flopping around inside. But here's something that you may not consider, and most people don't. When you're inside of a vehicle and you start spinning, it is hard to stay behind the wheel, which means you're not in a position to regain control. You want to put a driver in a place to stay in control and reduce the chance of that collision or that situation turning bad or worse. You keep them in the driver's seat where they actually can put their feet on the pedals and their hands on the steering wheel. Once things start, throwing you around, you may be thrown out of the position. So you've got the harm to yourself, harm to others in the vehicle, harm to yourself if you're ejected from the vehicle, and of course the ability to prevent the collision in the first place. So things to think about. That's primarily where it's at. Now you could also go a different road. You can talk about the injuries you sustain, especially in Ontario, are being paid for by taxpayers. So we want you to have fewer injuries, so that you don't end up, bankrupting our already strained healthcare system. In addition, if we have to go find you, you're going to be traumatizing other people. Like when you get thrown from a vehicle and other people are running you over, there's other people. It's just a bad scene. Let's move on to the other one. That's essentially, I think, all the points. There may be more. If anyone has any additional points you want to add to that, babbling answer of why seatbelts are important, let me know. Bruv says, my sister worked at a company for over 10 years. My sister worked at a company over 10 years ago. One of her coworkers went every Saturday to do driving tests for people. She made $500 a test. Wow. So you're saying, she went and completed tests on behalf of other people, faking it? So she was just a professional tester pretending to be you? Very interesting. Bruv continues to say, I can't believe anyone would put us all in jeopardy like that. I think that most people don't consider the fact that driving is inherently dangerous, and that, exactly like you said, driving is risking yourself and everyone else on the road. I, for one, want everyone to be a qualified driver when they get behind the wheel of a car. I want everyone to have driving instruction, and I want everyone to make good decisions. And part of what I do is discuss these things so that we can have this discussion, so we can make sure that people are making those good decisions. But there are so many people who are doing dumb stuff, whether it's because they're on their phone or they are in a rush and they're choosing to break the law. Whatever the case may be, they are just doing stuff. That's a bad idea. I want to revisit for anyone who hasn't heard about this, but there's a way to make $100,000. Okay, it's a way to win $100,000, and it's not a guarantee. But if you are interested in possibly coming away with a $100,000 prize, you should participate in the Great Canadian Driving Games. Now, Traffic Jam is a podcast that I host, and on it, I have the folks from both TURF, the Traffic Injury Research Foundation, and the Safe Roads Challenge, and they are the folks together doing the Great Canadian Driving Games. And what does this mean? You put an app on your phone, it tracks how you drive, it tells you and TURF how you do, but when it tells TURF, it's completely anonymous. It doesn't go to your insurance, it doesn't go to the police. What it does is it works to make sure that the Traffic Injury Research Foundation understands what's going on the roads, not just waiting until people crash, but actually finding out how people drive. Are you people going too fast into corners? Is that what's causing them to lose control? Are they accelerating heavily too much? Are they braking too hard? What's going on? Where do we need to put that traffic safety education to make a difference, to make roads safer? But they're doing it in a reward system. It's a video game, and I'm totally addicted. I am trying to up my score every single time, and I'm actually really upset about it. I'll tell you why. I have been using a cell phone holder that goes in my cup holder and has an arm to bring it up. So if someone calls, you see the call display. And the problem is, because it's so tall, it sways a little bit. And I thought maybe that's why. And I just got a message from Control. They're rebooting from the radio station. So it would swing a little bit. And because it would swing a little bit, it was putting I think it was affecting my cornering score. And because I'm ridiculously competitive, I decided to take the cell phone holder out and put the phone in my cup holder. And that may have improved my cornering score. But what it did do is the phone jostled a couple times. I drive a truck, so it bounces around and the roads are crappy. So it actually made it think that I was using my cell phone, which I don't touch. My cell phone isn't being touched. It was in the cup holder, but then it screwed up my score, so now I'm upset. Yeah, this is Sean's problems where I'm like, I want to win so bad. But here's what I'm doing. We're actually working on building a voiceover cop or ask a traffic cop team, and then you can join the team, and we can have scores and tell everybody else who doesn't watch the show that they could be doing better by simply joining the game and competing to show us that they, if they think they're good. See, people think when they're a good driver, it's because they get somewhere faster or they've just avoided a collision. Not being in a collision does not mean that you're a good driver. Being a good driver is so much more. Okay, we'll talk more about that. But if you want to check out the app, trafficcop.ca, you can go and download it. I have links there. And there's not just $100,000. There's other prizes along the way. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I should load some screen grabs. So if I put Mimi Jean says, if I pulled over for speeding, can the driver request to see the radar gun? You can request anything you want. There's no obligation under under Ontario law that says you have to show the person being charged the radar or LiDAR device. And if I have it on me, if I'm walking around with it in my hand, yeah, I'll show it to you. But here's the thing. I don't have to lock in a speed. If I make an observation with the radar device or laser device, after a period of time there will be it'll reset. Like it doesn't stamp it. It doesn't print a receipt. It doesn't stay in memory. It stays on screen for a period of time. But let's say I did multiple readings. I got you at 20 over, 15 over, and 10 over. Because I saw you at 15 over, and then you slowed down when you saw me, and I saw you reducing your speed. I can still charge you for the first speed that I got because I saw it. It shows up on the back, and it shows up in the reticle. So I know what I'm doing. I'm taking multiple readings, but I see the highest one, and that's the one I'm going to charge you with, not the lowest one after I lock it in and show it to you. So showing it to you is irrelevant. Now, other jurisdictions may have different rules, but those are the rules here. And I always find it interesting. So many people want to see like proof. Show it to me. They don't have to show it to you. And if it's in the car mounted to the dash, we're not going to have you get out of the car on the highway or on the road, walk over to our working space to stick your head in our car. No, it's an officer safety issue. It's a safety issue for you. Okay. What do we have? I'm trying to read your whole name. Let's see here. Can I do it? Is it going to work? No, but it's Otto Biel. Thanks for the gift and thanks for the follow. Much appreciated. Facts from Cats says, I can't believe Bruv can't believe how reckless our fellow citizens are. Well, you know what? It's hard to wrap your head around how entitled people are. It really is, because if you don't think that way, if you're someone who cares about other people and then you watch other people being horrible to one another, it takes a while to wrap your head around it. So I'm totally appreciate that it's hard to believe. I mean, he's acknowledging that it is. He just doesn't understand why people would do it. What's the motivation? It's just selfishness. I want to do something. That's it. Mike says, if the cops did their jobs and got rid of the new, that's okay. What you're doing is you're suggesting that a group of people based on their ethnicity or origin are bad drivers, and that's not the case. There are good and bad drivers of all ethnicities. Don't appreciate the allegation that one group of people would make the roads better. There are people who are breaking the law, and they're from all different backgrounds. It's the choices people make, not the place that they come from. And you may see people unfairly represented in the media. It's all people who break rules. Okay. Canadian Knight, can't see the rest of your name, says, why do tow trucks constantly tow with their emergency lights on? Oh, thank you for bringing that up. I don't know, because they don't need to, and they shouldn't. Those lights are a distraction. They're only supposed to be on when they're actually stopped, not moving, loading up. There's no need to have their lights flashing while they're towing a vehicle. They need to have their brake lights put on, like the ones that are remotely on the back of the vehicle, so that they can safely, we got a connection. I just heard a ding dong. Hang on a second. Let's go take. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. How's things?
Good. How are you?
I have no complaints.
We are coming up.
Some volumes. What's that?
Oh, perfect. We're coming up in about 2 minutes with you.
Very cool. If you can leave us in radio silence and then just pop Jerry in so we don't get flagged for music that plays in the intros.
Absolutely.
Awesome if you can do that. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
sometimes when we connect that we get like a great intro song, they'll play some rock and roll or something, and I love it. And then YouTube says, "Shame on you, you violator of rules." So we always remind everybody, please don't do that. Otherwise, we are ready and waiting for Jerry to join us. If you want to join the show live by calling into the show, 416-872-1010. You can phone or text that number or call toll-free 1-877-518-5151. And if you are watching and have no idea who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. I want you to know stuff so you don't do stuff that gets you in trouble. I want you to know the law first. I want you to be safe on the road. That's the whole goal. And we'll be talking with Jerry Agar on NewsTalk 1010 to see what's going on in Toronto. I'm sure there's some newsworthy stories. In addition to that, it's whatever you bring up and or call in with. He'll often say, what's going on TikTok? So if you got questions, now's a great time to bring them up so we can make sure that they get on the air in Toronto. And it's not just Toronto. It's a show that's across Ontario. Okay, we got how is it? Honda Mig says, where do I sign up? Trafficcop.ca, got a link there. Also, if you've got a new driver in your family, if you know someone who wants to get their license and they have been just miserable about this magical book that's so hard to read because it's boring. It's really boring. I'm reading this book. That's why I know it's boring. I read it when I was 15 and 16. I'm reading it again now because I want to help people. I'm recording myself reading it so that you can follow along. And sometimes it's really easy if you hear the audio. Audiobooks are a good thing. So it's on YouTube. If you go to VoiceOver Cop, I've got links to it at trafficcop.ca, links to the directory. And every week I'm adding at least one chapter.
You're listening to Jerry Agar on the iHeartRadio Talk Network.
Thanks for being along. Sean Shapiro, I used to call him the TikTok traffic cop. He is no longer a cop, but he still has the expertise. He's doing other things. We'll talk about that, but he's live streaming and we're joining the stream. Good morning.
Good morning, Jerry.
Good to have you along. I want to start with this story here. This is a guy, City News had this story. A 21-year-old man is facing charges of stunt and impaired driving. He was caught going 262 kilometers an hour on the northbound Highway 427. Have you ever seen anything like that?
I've never personally stopped anyone for that speed, but I know people are at those speeds all the time. And I remember a number of years ago, OPP got someone at 305 on the highway. You mix alcohol and stupidity together, and that's what you get. You get people going way too fast, and when they're impaired, it just makes things worse. I would have added a charge of criminal dangerous driving to that mix.
Okay, but a follow-up question to this is, you're an officer, you're in your car, all of a sudden you realize someone is doing that kind of speed, 262 kilometers northbound Highway 427, where people are probably flowing along at around 100. I think the speed limit is 90, but they'll be around 100. Do you give chase, or is that a dangerous thing to do?
So you've got the benefit of the radio. Now we've got the benefit of helicopters if need be. But you do try and catch up to identify the vehicle, to give the best description. But are you in a pursuit at that point? I wouldn't be lighting that person up necessarily until I can get identifiers. And I'd be calling for some friends on the road up ahead to try and either slow them down, because we can slow down vehicles by blocking roads. Not a roadblock per se, but adding some police vehicles up ahead, lights up ahead might slow them down. And then it's a game. It's chess, not checkers, though.
Yeah, well, because I'm thinking of that story, and I'm sure you know it, of the wrong way chase on the 401, and it was a disaster.
Yeah, I have mixed emotions about that, because I totally understand why the officers would have gone after them. And you figure you've got the car going the wrong way. Is it better to let them go the wrong way on their own, or to have lights and sirens behind to hopefully give an indicator of things going south and allow drivers to respond to it? So unfortunately, I think they were in a bad position either way.
We have a feature now on the iHeartRadio app where people can click on the microphone icon and leave a question, a message, whatever they want to do. And I alerted people that you were coming on. And so we have this from Larry.
Question for TikTok cop. First of all, my thoughts for you having to work with Jerry. Second of all, a lot of people being stuck in the box, blocking the box in downtown Toronto. I would recommend advanced greens and no right-hand turns. Advanced greens, more no right-hand turns in the downtown core. Thoughts?
I'll tell you a thought right away before you respond, Sean. Larry does a great impersonation of our afternoon host, Jim Richards.
It's funny. You sound so familiar. I like that.
Yeah. Okay, but what about his question?
And Bucky Tubbs on TikTok says that is Jim Richards. So
course it
in
is.
terms of the question, blocking the box, obviously you shouldn't be entering the box unless you have a clear path to exit it. And because people are so entitled, they jump in and roll the dice because they don't want someone who's making a right turn to take that space. If you simply banned right turns, you would prevent, I think, the most of it. In terms of advanced greens, it might work. You know, right now we're busy trying to prioritize pedestrians, so prioritizing everybody will slow things down, I think. But I don't have a problem with actually cutting off the turning right. That could work in the city, just like Montreal makes it.
Okay, here's a text question. My friend's car broke down. I would like to lend her my car once in a while for her to run errands, etc. What do I need to consider insurance-wise?
Well, first things first, you are lending your insurance when you lend your car. So as long as they're a licensed driver, they're valid. So you want to go and check with the Ministry of Transportation. They actually have a link where you can click and type in their information and make sure that their license is valid, because very often people are suspended and you don't know. And then they're unlicensed driving your car, and that's a bad scene, especially for insurance. If they're once in a while randomly borrowing it because they're just friends who don't live with you, you can lend the car legally from a police perspective, as long as they have proof of insurance, which is your proof of insurance, and a valid driver's license. They're good to go. Of course, their ownership as well, your ownership. It's not illegal, but if they cause a collision or if they're involved in a collision, that's where things can get hairy. You want to make sure that if it's a regular thing, you put them as an occasional driver, and if it's a rare occurrence, then they can absolutely borrow the car.
So if somebody borrows my car and then goes out and is caught for drunk driving, do I have any kind of jeopardy?
Oh yeah, because that car is going to be impounded, and you're going to be responsible for the fees associated. So that's not good. Also, stunt driving, same thing. The vehicle will be put into impound for 14 days, and as the owner, you're going to have to pay to get it out of hock.
Okay, but that's kind of a civil matter, whereas they're not going to come and I don't have any jeopardy against the actual drunk driving.
No, as a driver, you're not going to be responsible, unless, of course, you gave them permission while they were impaired, which is a different story.
Well, then you're just completely a nut. Doug Ford halts his proposal to use Highway 401 shoulders to ease traffic gridlock. So I'm asking you about something that's probably not going to happen. But what is the actual purpose of the shoulder?
The shoulders to allow emergency vehicles to get through, because they're the only space that you can go. It's allowing vehicles who are broken down, to pull over to the side to get out of the way. It's an important space that is not intended for vehicles to be driven on, and I would hate to see that being used that way. I think it would be, and I'm glad to hear he's going to halt that, because it doesn't make any sense. It's essentially packing more people into a space that wouldn't have anywhere to go, so it would just be more people in the waiting line.
Yeah, I'm talking to Sean Shapiro. I call him now the TikTok former cop, because he was a traffic officer with TPS when we first started doing these shows together. He has retired as a police officer, still has the expertise. Let's take the John Tory thing here. Former Mayor John Tory was on round one on private construction's effect on traffic.
A lot of it's private construction of condos, and Toronto is set up in such a way with narrow streets and a lot of the construction being infill that you just can't have the kind of policy they have in New York, where, for example, they a lot of times prohibit you from closing a lane. And we tried jacking up the fees to close those lanes for condo construction, and no matter how high we drove them up, people still needed the lanes closed, and this is sometimes for years.
Okay, it's my suspicion, Sean, that some of what happens is where there may be rules and regulations and fees and blah, blah, blah. Ultimately, the people at the construction project just seem to do whatever they want, and the city just kind of lets them do it.
It's amazing. They can pay for what do you call it, the licensing or the permit to do it, and they do whatever they need. The project is so big that the cost of whatever that fee is inconsequential, and it destroys the traffic flow in an area. All those trucks coming in to remove the dirt or haul materials, it really has an impact to the community. But at the same time, those projects have to go up, and we need it for development. It's a double-edged sword, and it's not good on either side.
All right. Christina had a question this morning, and she prefers to let me just tell you what the question is. Can you keep a photocopy of your car's registration in your car rather than the original? She says she's been told it's harder to ship a car out if the original registration isn't in it, which she means stolen and shipped out of the country.
In terms of shipping, I don't think they care because they're smuggling them out of the country, not legitimately selling them and shipping them. But if you have the original document, not only do they, could someone just forge your signature and sell it to themselves and go off driving it? It's just a bad scene. So you can legally carry a photocopy. We say a true copy of both sides of the document can be carried in the vehicle. But my suggestion is don't leave anything in the vehicle that has your personal address on it. They might be breaking in just to find out where you live, scoping out the next place they want to hit. And I keep my ownership and insurance in my wallet. I would suggest a purse or wallet is great, but I do agree that leave your original at home or in your safety deposit box. Keep a photocopy. That's all you need. It's legal.
Okay, you would need to remember that if you lent your car to somebody.
Absolutely, and that's a big deal. Whenever someone's driving your car, you have to be able to surrender license, ownership, and insurance. And if you don't know where it is, they're going to get the ticket. And I've been, roadside with people saying it's not my car, but let me look here and let me call them. And you give them a chance to look for a little bit, but eventually you just issue a ticket.
All right, Sean Shapiro, the TikTok former cop. Where are you available now?
You can get me at trafficcop.ca. That has links to all my social media. It even has links to the Great Canadian Driving Games.
Okay, trafficcop.ca. You managed to garner that one yourself.
That was something I bought on my own just to make life easy because I had so many tips and ideas and things I wanted to share with my audience, and that was the easiest way to do it, by giving them a hot link that got to all the info.
All right, we'll talk again soon. Thanks.
All the best, Jerry. Talk soon.
Who's up?
All righty then. Change my scene. Here we go, back to normal. And NewsTalk, always a pleasure. They took off. That was Jerry Agar on NewsTalk 1010. I got a tickle in my throat. Apparently I needed to make some tea or something. My voice was cracking. If you got questions about stuff and things, I'm your guy. My name is Sean Shapiro, former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. And I have too much fun doing it. And that's why I do it. 46 minutes into the show. We're going for another 15, 14, 13. We're going till the hour. And then we'll be back tomorrow night for After Dark, which is 9 p.m. If nighttime is better for you, then that's what time is going to be good. Let's see here. We got people blaming the cops. Okay. Fact says, so Mike had said that something that I consider to be racist. You're entitled to your beliefs, but some things shouldn't be said out loud. And then Fact says, if racists like Mike would go away, Canada would be better. Well, you know what? We have a problem. We have people who can't get along. It's an unfortunate situation. And Mike responds with, "It's fact." Listen, like I said before, it is a problem on all sides. We have people who break the rules, and we have people who speed, and we have people who use their phones when they drive. And I got news for you. It's everybody. It's not one particular group that's responsible for all of it. Bruv says, would be cool if the radar device showed speed and license plate, handheld photo radar, irrefutable. There are devices, there are versions that have come out that link with an iPhone that do store information, that create evidence, like a picture of the license plate with the speed, everything on. But those are not only more expensive, they tend to break, and going down the road of switching hundreds and hundreds of units in a police service into those would be difficult and expensive. And then it would create an entirely new process for requiring evidence to be processed. It would just muddy the waters. And it's not a requirement. It would just be a nice to have. So it's like buying a car with power seats. Well, power seats versus manual seats. Power seats will break before manual seats will. So they don't want to invest in something that's going to fail. And they're not tried and tested. The simplest ones will probably stand the test of times. The fancy dandy ones with all the bells and whistles will likely break and then cost more money. And money is a difficult thing to spend in the government. You've got to be responsible for everything that you buy. And then you have to maintain it. And I can tell you that even the stuff that you think is bulletproof is getting broken. What do they say? Leave 2 ball bearings in a police station. No, it's leave 3 ball bearings in a police station. 2 of them will get broken. 1 will go missing. It's just it's the way of the world. But I do like where you're going with that, bruv. Let's see here. Canadian Night says, very big distraction, especially at night. I'm not sure what that distraction is. Bucky Tubbs says, almost synced up News Talk 1010 perfectly. And then Brenda Lee says, tried sending you the video. However, TikTok messages won't let me share. Okay, Brenda, if you go and you can go to trafficcop.ca, I actually have a website, a link that will allow you to go to a Google page that will allow you to upload directly to me any video you want. You can send files. Otherwise, you can also put it on YouTube and send me a link, or Dropbox and send me a link, whatever works. Hugo Boss 19 or 1191. I wanted to say 1911 because I rearranged those numbers for me to make them firearms related. But Hugo Boss sent a gift, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Bruv says, a few of my friends and my dad were wondering where you would be doing another public appearance, as we'd enjoy meeting you in person. That's a good question. I'm going to be at the police memorial, but I'll be busy behind the lines assisting Motor Squad with some stuff. That's coming up. Where else am I going to be? I don't know. I'm going to be at a couple of events, but I've got to look at my calendar. You know what? I will post these things on my Twitter page. I will likely make a video about them too. But yeah, DM me and we'll try and connect with some stuff. I'm trying to do some go-karting things. There's a plan in place, and a couple of my friends, both are professional drivers, police officers. We want to get some race car drivers versus police officers. Who's faster on the go-kart track? That's a plan I've been working on for years that has not come to fruition, and I want to make that happen this year. So that's a thing. Yeah, but what other shows? I did the auto show as the last one. Yeah, I don't have anything that comes to mind as big events. Well, I'm going to try and do Honda Indy. I want to be at the Honda Indy events, very least on the Friday when it's open to all. I'm not planning on having a booth there. Okay. Brandon says, I asked Brandon what he's making. He's cooking. Says he's making ribeye and roasted garlic mashed potatoes. Pasta option is roasted garlic fettuccine Alfredo with bruschetta and Caesar salad with homemade Caesar dressing. If I skipped the potatoes and the pasta and I didn't have any croutons on the Caesar, that sounds like the best lunch ever. How long would it take me to drive to where you are? Let's see here. Okay. Queen says, meow. They like cats, but they meowed. Okay, what we got here? We don't have any dad jokes. I think we're dad jokeless today. Does anybody have any dad jokes to share? Dad jokes are it. I'm really looking forward to summer break when we get all the folks who aren't in school and aren't at work, joining us in the live stream. And that's where we tend to get, all of the people who are looking ripe with questions. I'm looking forward to summer. Other viewers who are enjoying the easy access to their questions will not appreciate the influx of people. That being said, is there a better time than 10 o'clock for you? Because 10 o'clock used to be a fantastic time, but nowadays it's less good. And I mean that because everyone's busy. During COVID, it was easy because everyone was at home. And a number of my followers say, well, I am here listening while I'm at work. So I listen, but I can't engage with questions. So it's a tough balance. But if you've got a better time, I'm going to have to start revisiting, and maybe we move the 10 o'clock show to 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock. I had a quiz or a survey go out, and it was, is 4 or 7 better? And many people said 7. And then we ended up doing 9. I think we're going to have to do another survey. Pick those times. Okay. That's what I'm going to do this afternoon, is write up a survey. Let's go into, what can I go? I know what I can do. I can go into a dad joke generator. Since no one gave me one, we'll look up our own. And I can also create a song. If you didn't know, I have Suno. I actually pay for a subscription for Suno because it is amazing. And if you go to Suno, you can just give it some keywords and it will create a song. And it's an awesome song. So if you've got any ideas, if you want to inspire a song, let us know. We'll do that before the end of the show. Okay. What did the 0 say to the 8? Nice belt. Someone told me that joke recently. 0 with the belt that makes it look like an 8. I get it. I get it. How many kids? No, this is not appropriate. Skip that one. Actually, it's not that bad. How many kids with ADD does it take to change a light bulb? Let's go ride bikes. Okay. Appropriate, not appropriate. I'm just reading from the website. It's not my fault. Which side of the chicken has more feathers? The outside. These are actually pretty good. Maybe we're in a situation that challenges the all-knowing Achille Draconis, because he's usually on point with dad jokes, but he's in a meeting or something. So he's in Oakville. Maybe that's why he doesn't have his dad jokes written down there. Spider says he tagged me in a video. Did I see it? I did not see it, but I have not been looking, so I will check it out. And then I'm sure to post. I'm doing a whole bunch of review videos or response videos. Those are fun. Why do melons have weddings? Because they can't elope. That didn't work. What's going on here? There we go. They can't elope. They can't elope. Why do melons have weddings? They can't elope. They can't elope. It's amazing. That was good. All right. 4 minutes. Can we make a song in 4 minutes? Is that doable? What do you think? Now, just because I'm a geek, what can I say? Let's try this. We're going to go to Suno, and we're going to take Bruv's joke, unless someone's got a better plan. We'll take Bruv's joke, and we're going to try and turn this into a song, just because we can. There's no value to this other than it entertains me. What kind of songs do we want, Bruv? What's the style? What should we be looking for here? Or maybe we can incorporate this with Brandon. Okay, make a catchy song about why melons. Okay, we're going to say here. Oh, jazz. He wants to make a jazz song. Okay. We're going to say here. Second here. Can I copy this? Apparently not. Won't let me. Okay, I'll type it. This is so totally not a regular thing. They hired Brandon. No, we'll do it like this. Okay. And making ribeye potatoes. We've gone way off the script here. Roasted potatoes, pasta is roasted garlic. This is going to be a heck of a song. Garlic fettuccine. Two C's. Missed a C. Fettuccine with bruschetta. That's going to be interesting how it pronounces that. Okay, let's see what it does. I will be amazed if this is not garbage, but we'll see what it says. Bruv said jazz blues. It's Bruv's joke saying melons why do melons have weddings? Because they can't elope. I want to see how this turns out. This is going to be hot garbage possibly, but we're going to find out real soon. I need the here we go. They gave two versions. Let's see if the first one's any good.
Why do melons have weddings, you say? Well, they just can't elope, it's the melon way. They're rolling down the aisle in a beautiful hue, with laughter and love and that cantaloupe view. Oh, love's a feast, let the good times flow. Brandon's catering, ain't you in the know? Ribeyes, roasting potatoes on the side. Garlic fettuccine, oh, it can't be denied. They'll exchange their vows in that fruity embrace, with their rind all polished, pure melon grace. And the bruschettas piled a garlicky cheer. Let's toast to the melons as love draws near. Oh, love's a feast, let the good times flow. Brandon's catering, ain't you in the know? Ribeyes, roasting potatoes on the side. Garlic fettuccine, oh, it can't be denied. Now the wedding bells chime, but they hum a tune like a summer breeze in the heart of June. Melons may not dance, but they sure can groove to the rhythm of love, their squishy fruit move. So next time you see a cantaloupe bride, remember their weddings where love won't hide. Brandon serves it up with a menu so grand. Pour a glass and toast to this fruity band.
Now that's version 1. Here's version 2. That's not the right one. Hang on a second here. Let's go back. That's not right at all. Okay, hang on a second. That's not right. Either way, that was the. Have they changed things? Maybe they changed things. Where'd it go? That was actually a surprisingly good song, if I do say so myself. Did it only make one version? Maybe it only made one version, but it was epic. I'd listen to that again. Yeah. I don't understand. Maybe it only made one. Okay. Either way, I'm pretty impressed. Brandon, I'll send you a copy of it. Bruv, if you message me, I'll send you a copy of it, because Bruv says that's pretty dope, and I can't disagree. One last thing before we go, because I can and I should and I want to. TPS.ca. Let's see what the Toronto Police are posting for jobs. Jobs. We want jobs. Who was that? Who was it that said that? Anyone? It was not this election cycle, the last one. There was a clip going around of someone going, jobs. Might have been Hillary Clinton. Okay. I'm in the wrong side. Let me make myself small. Or not at all. There we go. Let's do that. Police constable, special constable, parking enforcement officer, communications operator, and lateral just means a police officer from another service already qualified, auxiliary officer. These are positions that have their own headings. If you want to be a police constable, you go to tps.ca/careers, hit the police constable button, and you're going to get all sorts of information about becoming one. All the requirements, all the things you need to know before you start your application process. If you're in the application process, know things about the police service you want to join. It is no good to simply show up and go, tell me what I need to know. No, you need to do some work on your own. Now, police constables, that's pretty obvious. They're cops. Special constables do other duties. They have expanded powers. They're more than a civilian, but only when they're at work. Parking enforcement officers keep our cities moving. Communications operators are the fine folks who answer the phone. They answer the call when you need help. They make sure police are dispatched to go assist and save the day in their own special way. If you go into special or civilian roles, you can see all the different positions that are non-uniform, that are not the other ones. You can also see uniform roles here, because parking enforcement, well, uniform tends to refer to police officer, but I mean in a uniform. So senior project manager, facilities management, that is a job that might be great for you or someone you know. Let's see here, 128.5 to 148.7. That's not a bad place to be. All of the things you're going to need to do, the requirements of the job. If you think this might be for you, check it out. Then you've got Yippee. Yippee is the Youth in Policing Initiative. It's a program for school aged folks. It depends on what you're in. Are you in high school? You might qualify. You have to be from one of these communities to qualify. You have to be between 15 and 18 years old as of August 27th, 2025. They pay you. They pay you $17.20 an hour to effectively learn, but they got you doing stuff. You're helping out. Intermediate programmer analyst, 88 to 105. We're going to round up a $4. 35 hour. Yeah, this is something that I know nothing about. Programming. I programmed in BASIC. BASIC was what I programmed in. Anyway, what else we got here? Communications operator, those people who answer your call, 77.8 to 102.2. I guess we round up and we can say 102.3. These are positions that you might be able to jump into to serve your community without necessarily becoming a police officer. You can still make a difference. All right. That's it for me. I'll be back tomorrow at 9 p.m. for After Dark, and that's going to be at 9 p.m. If you got stuff and things you want me to look at, tag me in them. If you want to ask me questions, ask them in the comments. Send me a message. Go to trafficcop.ca. And hey, before I go, I keep saying I'm leaving, but then I don't leave. Check out the Great Canadian Driving Games. I want to compete with you. Yes. You go to trafficcop.ca. You can link to download the app. You can install it on your phone. It'll track your driving. It won't share it with anybody but the Traffic Injury Research Foundation. And that is all good stuff. And then, of course, competing with me. Bruv says, enjoy the rest of your carb-free day. Appreciate you. I will, in fact, be carb-free. Truly carb-free. I've given up my favorite hot sauce because there's sugar in it, and I didn't realize it. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.